Thank you for tuning in to Beastwatch News News Brief at the most current and comprehensive Bible prophecy website on the internet, beastwatchnews.com. All Bible prophecy news all the time. Stay tuned for news. Today's scripture reading is Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13. If a man lie with mankind as he lies with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. On the eve of John Kerry's visit to Israel, 69 East Jerusalem homes were okayed. An Israel Planning Committee on Wednesday granted final approval for the construction of 69 East Jerusalem settler homes. The approval was granted by the Municipal Planning Committee just hours before Kerry touched down in Amman on his 5th visit to the region. Abbas said that the Arabs must save Jerusalem from the settlement monster, and Israel is being flayed in the international community over these new settlements. But after all that fuss, reports are saying that Netanyahu is ready to give up 90% of Judea and Samaria and is ready for those painful settlement evacuations. John Kerry is bringing a gift of his own, though, to Israel today. He's bringing a September deadline. John Kerry has set a new target date. Apparently, the last two have failed. Now he's setting a new target date regarding his efforts to renew peace negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians. In a press conference in Kuwait, Kerry said that progress must be made before the UN General Assembly convenes in September. The PA is continuing in its obstinance. Haniyeh has said that the Palestinians will not recognize Israel as a Jewish state, and Abbas is saying that they will only negotiate based on 1967 lines. An Israeli deputy minister and key figure of the radical right in Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's Likud has managed to score political points at the premier's expense in internal party elections. The Likud Central Committee on Tuesday began voting for the leadership of the party's governing institutions, with Deputy Defense Minister Danny Danon elected as chairman of the factions conference. Netanyahu's supporters have become so outnumbered that the prime minister did not run for convention president to avoid an embarrassing defeat. Mr. Danon now is expected to be elected chairman of Likud's Central Committee, with like-minded right-wingers capturing other influential party posts. While the PM speaks for the government, he may not be able to carry a vote in his own party caucus on the subject of a Palestinian state, should the talks get that far. In Syria, Russia has evacuated Tartus. Also, its military and diplomatic personnel have been evacuated from Syria, and there is a high war alert going on in Israel at this moment. Shortly after Debka aired a special video on the Syrian war's widening circle, Moscow announced on Wednesday the evacuation beginning Friday of all Russian military and diplomatic personnel from Syria was complete, including its naval base at Tartus. Russia decided to withdraw its personnel because of the fear of an incident involving the Russian military that could have larger consequences, said a defense ministry official in Moscow. A 16-ship naval task force remains in the eastern Mediterranean, however, and an unannounced Israel war maneuver has been conducted on the Golan Heights. Syria is making progress as it has battled in Talkalakh. It's left hundreds of terrorists killed there, several of them fleeing away and many others surrendering after their home front collapsed yesterday. The Syrian army discovered tunnels, weapons bunkers, and field hospitals in the town that were believed for the more than 2-year-long crisis as a passage for militants and ammunition into Syria. The retrieval of Talkalakh presents a new blow against armed opposition groups because it was of significant importance for the militant groups strategically and a passage for arms and men geographically. As Bashar al-Assad's army continues to mop up Syria, the U.S. military is recommending training Lebanese forces in order to face the Syrian spillover. Egypt today is bracing for a new revolution as Egyptian troops are moving to bases near cities ahead of the protests planned for this weekend. President Morsi is pleading for more time to solve Egypt's problems ahead of those protests. In the U.S., the Supreme Court has struck down heterosexual-only marriage as unconstitutional. A divided U.S. Supreme Court overturned the federal law yesterday that defines marriage as a heterosexual union, saying it violates the rights of married gay couples by denying them government benefits. Please listen to Beastwatch News special report today for more details and commentary. In the U.S. banking system, there are rumors that the public banking system will go down soon, sometime between now and August. According to Steve Quayle's website, the public will be told that hackers have broken into the entire banking system and that in a very few days it will all be back to normal. However, according to the website, the plan is that the banks will not return to normal. He says that his customers' friends told him that when he hears the banking system has gone down late on a Friday afternoon, he will have 72 hours to be out of the city and either in his retreat or on the way there because the cities will be locked down by martial law when the banks are closed. Europe has struck the same deal as Japan did a couple of weeks ago. The EU has agreed on Thursday to force investors and wealthy savers to share the cost of future bank failures. Under immigration, the Senate is on the cusp of an approving historic immigration legislation vote today, offering citizenship to millions in the U.S. who are here illegally, and the bill gives a safe harbor to criminal illegals. Where is Mr. Snowden? Putin says that he's not in Russia. Ecuador says they want him and are even willing to waive their trade rights with the United States in order to get him. And Obama says that he's not going to be scrambling jets anytime soon to get the 29-year-old hacker, whose antics might just be a huge distraction from the coming World War III. By now you know that you do live in a surveillance state. License plate readers let police collect millions of records on drivers. The paperback-sized device installed on the outside of police cars can log thousands of license plates in an 8-hour patrol shift. One man said his own car had been photographed 112 times, including one image from 2009 that shows him and his daughters stepping out of his Toyota Prius in their driveway. That photograph made him frightened and concerned about the magnitude of police surveillance and data collection. Meanwhile, the St. Louis police chief said that he wants drones to patrol high crime areas. New York City already has 500,000 drones purchased by various individuals. The city wants to buy its own drones, and the New Jersey Senate has approved a bill requiring DNA sampling for persons regarded as disorderly. In the UK, 2 prominent U.S. bloggers have been banned from entering the UK, the Home Office has said. Pamela Giller and Robert Spencer, co-founders of the anti-Muslim group Stop the Islamization of America, were due to speak at an English Defence League march in Woolwich, where drummer Lee Rigby was killed. A government spokesman said that individuals whose presence is not conducive to the public good would be excluded by the Home Secretary. He added, "We condemn all those whose behaviors and views run counter to our shared values, and we will not stand for extremism in any form. These bloggers blog about Sharia and are anti-Islamic. Therefore, they are hated in the UK, where Sharia is prized." And finally, a Texas abortion bill has failed after being challenged. Despite barely beating a midnight deadline, hundreds of jeering protesters helped stop Texas lawmakers from passing one of the toughest abortion measures in the country, thus allowing mothers to continue murdering their unborn babies. This is Beastwatch News Daily Update. See these and other stories at beastwatchnews.com. Bible prophecy news every day except Shabbat.